I can hear you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Vido,
Present.
Councilor Lopez.
Here.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Here.
Councilor Brown. Here. Councilor Bishop. Councilor Tahada.
Present.
Councilor Avellaneda. Councilor Robinson. Councilor Pearl Latanda. Councilor Garcia.
Present.
And Councilor Ray Cooperall. 11 members present. We have a quorum, Madam Chairman.
Okay.
First order is public speaking.
Public speaking. Anyone that wishes to speak publicly, please come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you have 4 minutes.
My name is Roman Pucko. I live at 191 Linfield Street, Peabody, Mass. I was born in the city of Chelsea and lived at 1 Chestnut Street from 1940 to 1949. Then, being displaced by the Tobin Bridge, we later moved to the corner of 3rd Street and Chestnut Street from 1949 to 1975. And then we moved to Peabody. I'm a Vietnam-era veteran. I joined the Polish American Veterans at 35 4th Street after my discharge in December of '65, and have been an active member up till today. I know Chelsea very well, especially from City Hall Avenue to William Street. I am also very experienced in traffic control, traffic signals, and traffic flow. I'd like to share my information with the City Council so when they have to make a decision on this matter, they can make it with intelligence, because everyone doesn't know traffic signals and traffic control. Anything can work, but what you want is the best for the citizens of Chelsea, the residents of Chelsea, the property owners, the business owners, and the people that use public transportation. I work for J.F. White on the Big Dig around Mass Avenue and Frontage Road. Bechtel, Parsons, and Brinkerhoff were the lead consultants. I helped the manager for traffic signals, who had absolutely no knowledge of traffic control, because his experience was in power plants and he worked mostly in Canada. I've got a vast knowledge of the subject, and I'd like to help the City Council and anyone else that's interested. I notice item 11E on the agenda includes 2 intersections that are responsibility of the Department of Transportation on a Ribby Parkway, but because they involve Chelsea streets, Chelsea has to be involved. The intersection of Spruce and Everett Avenue is Chelsea's responsibility. I would like to be involved in all these discussions so that I can share my knowledge and experience with you, and especially with the reimagining of Broadway.
1 more minute.
Anything can work, but again, you want to satisfy everybody, and you want the best solution. I have several solutions between City Hall and William Street that I'd like to share whenever these discussions come about. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to? Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Manuel Tasha, and I live in 893 Broadway. I am here today in representing the school and the class of 2019, as well as upcoming students. First, I want to start by thanking Ms. Damali Vidit for helping us on outside graduation, supporting us on Thursday night. We actually got the school board to vote yes on outside graduation. Those are recent news. But right now the problem is the field. our priority to get graduation is to be on the football field, the main field that is being constructed right now. We understand that it is worth a lot of money. We know that it's $3.3 million, and we know that it has a warranty that the city does not want to lose. We understand all the money involved into it, but we talked to I went and talked to the director of facilities, and he told me that there's a way to protect the turf, and he said that it was plywood. But he did say that it's going to cost a lot of money, around $30,000 just for getting the plywood without installation. So with installation, that's going to cost a lot more. We were told that also the school board has already budgeted around $35,000 for graduation itself, but it cannot afford to protect the field. So us, the students, we have taken the initiative to raise money for this. I talked to the superintendent today, and we agreed on that if I can get at least $5,000 fundraised by the students by the end of November, she will let us keep the fundraise and try to attempt to get the money that we need to protect the field. We really want to be given the opportunity, just the opportunity to show that we can raise this money, and if we can't, we will understand that we will have to take another option that is financially favorable for the city, because we do not want to put a toll on the city, since we know it's a lot of money, and we know that there's a lot of other ways that you guys can invest it. That is why we're taking the main initiative to do it ourselves. We want to raise that money. I'm really here also to ask for help if anyone wants to be involved in this and help us make it happen. We would really be thankful, because as of right now, we're depending entirely on students. I am reaching out to clubs. I am reaching out to as many students as I can in order to get their help. We're starting this week. We're organizing everything. We're getting all the people, all the students that can do bake sales. We're going to start with that. Then we're going to move to asking companies if we can advertise them in some way in such that they can give us money as well. We really need help to make this happen, because we feel really passionate about our school. I've been there for 4 years. I've seen myself grow in that school, and I want to graduate on that school the best way possible.
1 more minute.
And I'm here to let you guys know that this is what's happening, and to ask for help as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody else for public speaking? Anybody else? Going once? Going twice? That portion of the meeting is closed.
We have approval of minutes of the City Council meeting, October 29, 2018.
Councilor Brown?
Minutes under suspension, Madam President.
Seeing no objection, so moved.
Communications from the city manager, we don't have any this week. Communications and petitions to the council. We have a copy of a communication received from City Solicitor Sherwood Watson Fisher regarding a legal opinion as to process of referring matters to the subcommittee.
Can I get a motion from someone?
I'd ask the letter be read for the record.
This legal opinion is in response to Councilor Robinson's request in regards to Finance Subcommittee discussing a matter not yet referred to subcommittee nor the agenda for the subcommittee of October 29, 2018. As you are aware, the open meeting law requires that all matters that are to come before a public body must be noticed to the public. Subcommittees of the City Council fall under the open meeting law requirements, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30A. All notices for public meetings except emergencies shall be posted at least 48 hours prior to such meetings. The notices, agendas must reasonably inform the public in advance of what will be discussed at the meeting. In Chelsea, the public normally receives 2 types of notices of subcommittees. One is when the City Council posts its agenda notices with the city clerk, and 2, when, as per Council Rule 26, the council, by way of order, sends the matter to the subcommittee. Rule 26 requires that all committee consider matters that are referred to them by the City Council as a whole. It is my legal opinion that a discussion of matter not noticed is in violation of the open meeting law, especially since the subcommittee had sufficient time to amend their notice to include the matter in subcommittee. As for the enforcement of the council rules, it appears the subcommittees only meet on matters that are referred to by the council.
Councilor Robinson?
Communication, if we could send it to conference, if there are no objections.
Send it to subcommittee and conference. Seeing no objections. Counselor Bishop?
I feel like I have to say a few words about this communication. I am the chairman of the Subcommittee on Finance appointed by the President of the City Council. In addition to my being on the committee, Councilor Calvin Brown and Councilor Judith Garcia are also members of the committee. I started in January, and we have tried to do a good job for the City Council in moving the financial requests along so they come up in a timely manner. We have met in a timely manner on everything that has been presented to us. I read the opinion of the city solicitor, and I went back and looked, and the Subcommittee on Finance notice of a meeting was posted on the 25th of October in this past 2 weeks ago. It was posted in a timely manner. The meeting was held on October 29th. On October 23rd, we received a communication from the city manager asking us to transfer within the assessing department the sum of $20,000 for use in a lawsuit. On October 25th, also posted on the bulletin board at the city clerk's office, was the agenda for the meeting. So we had the agenda and listing this communication. We had the agenda for the meeting with this $20,000 on there. We had the notice for the subcommittee stating when the subcommittee was going to be held in a timely manner, 48 hours after the notice was posted. And the notice reads very simply, the following subjects will be discussed. Financial requests. Well, we had one other financial request that we discussed. This particular $20,000 one I thought was appropriate to discuss so that it would be able to put it on the floor that night. I read what the city solicitor had to say. I don't see anything in Rule 26 that states that we couldn't speak about it. And, I read Rule 26 very carefully. It states that you will meet on the things that were referred, but it doesn't say you can't talk about anything else. So this having been posted as a financial matter on the agenda, and our notice stating that it was a financial matter, I thought it was appropriate to speak about it and bring it up at that meeting. I might add that since January, the city solicitor has been receiving these notices of subcommittee meetings, and I have never once heard from her that this is inappropriate, that we shouldn't say financial requests. I didn't get a communication from the city solicitor or a phone call or an email saying that, oh, you have to list everything you're going to talk about. It says financial requests. It doesn't say pending before the council or anything else like that. It just says financial requests. So for transparency's sake, nothing was being hidden. It was on the agenda, posted on the bulletin board downstairs, and this notice was posted on the bulletin board downstairs. So I don't see what the big deal is. This was probably the smallest amount of money that we have met on all year, $20,000, but not that that matters. That's not the subject of this discussion. But to me, it's kind of petty and picayune. I don't get it. What's the big deal? Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you.
Point of information.
Yes.
The question is, tonight we have an agenda. On the question of the meeting, the information that he wanted to talk about was on the agenda, was not presented before this full body. So therefore, it wasn't presented to this body, so I don't know how it could be moved to the Committee on Finance without being presented here first and moved to the Committee on Finance. That's my point.
Can I suggest that when we have the subcommittee on conference, we figure out as a body what the best way to move forward is? With financial orders that come before us? Can we talk about it in a subcommittee meeting and figure it out that way?
We certainly can.
Okay.
I think it's
All right,
On
so,
the suspension, Counsel?
Yeah, this is.
yeah, thank you. Moving on.
Second readings. Second readings. First order on the second readings, we have appointments to boards and commissions. Pursuant to Section 4.2 of the Charter of the City of Chelsea, I'm inviting to recommend the following individuals to boards and commissions. For appointment to the Youth Commission, Mr. Jose M. Palacios Tesh, 893 Broadway, Chelsea, for the term expiring on June 30th, 2019. Mr. Palacios Tesh is a senior at the high school. For appointment to the Planning Board, Ms. Mimi Van Cantor, 44 Beacon Street, Chelsea, for a 3-year term expiring in 2021. Copies of the resumes have attached.
Councilor Garcia?
I make a motion for roll call.
To affirm the appointments?
Yes.
To affirm the appointments if there are no objections.
Yes, to affirm the appointments, Councilor Vido.
Yes.
Councilor Lopez.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor Brown. Yes. Councilor Bishop. Yes. Councilor Tahada.
Yes.
Councilor Avellaneda. Yes. Councilor Robinson. Councilor Pilatanda. Yes. Councilor Garcia.
Yes.
And Councilor Ray Cooper. 11 in favor, none opposed, motion adopted. Next order introduced by Councilor Bishop, ordered that the Chelsea City Council authorize the appropriation of $65,668.60 as a transfer from Special Revenue TNC Surcharge Distribution Fund Number 5019 from funds distributed to Chelsea from the Commonwealth Transportation Infrastructure Fund in order to supplement the FY.
Chair recognizes Councilor Bishop. Okay, move it to a roll call vote.
This is, as I had stated at the last meeting, this is the 10-cent per ride fee that the city collects, which is amazing, that amounted up to $65,000. And that's just for 1 year for the Lyft and the Uber fees that are charged from the city of Chelsea. The city gets 10 cents, I guess, from every ride that's used, and the state gets 10 cents. So
Okay,
that's what it's for.
thank you, Councilor Bishop.
Yes vote would be to approve. Councilor Vido?
Yes.
Councilor Lopez?
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilor Brown? Yes. Councilor Bishop?
Yes.
Councilor Tahada?
Yes.
Councilor Avellaneda? Yes. Councilor Robinson? Yes. Councilor Pilatanda? Yes. Councilor Garcia?
Yes.
And Councilor Ray Cooper. 11 in favor, none opposed, motion adopted. Next order introduced by Councilor Bishop, ordered that the Chelsea City Council authorize the appropriation of $20,000 from the overlay surplus account to the Assessor's Office Legal Services account.
Councilor Bishop? Yep, move to a roll call.
A yes would be to approve. Councilor Vido?
Yes.
Councilor Lopez?
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilor Brown? Yes. Councilor Bishop? Yes. Councilor Tahada?
Yes.
Councilor Avellaneda? Yes. Councilor Robinson? Yes. Councilor Pilatanda? Yes. Councilor Garcia?
Yes.
Councilor Ray Cooper. 11 in favor, none opposed. That's it on second readings. We now move on to new business. First item under new business. We move it.
Okay.
Second order under new business order introduced by Councilor Ray Cooper, ordered that the city manager instruct the director of DPW to give an accurate account of how the city goes about setting the water and sewer rates and look into a way to stabilize the rates or lower them. A copy of the DPW director's response should be given to each city council.
Councilor Recupero?
I'd like to talk on the suspension, and I'd like to speak on it if there's no objection.
Seeing no objections, you have the floor.
This will give all of us the accurate how all the water is done. Most of us, I don't know, but I had to find out that how the water rate is set. Most people of that city don't even know how the water rate is set. The water rate is set to how much water the NWRA charges us, plus the city. And the NWRA charges the water, how much water it goes through the system. And our city has an old infrastructure, which charges us also for rainwater, which goes through. So that's why our rates are so high. That's why most people don't know that the rate, that's how they determine it. And the rest of it is the city itself. This will send each one of us individually a way to explain to us exactly how the water rate is set. That way there's no, all of us know, regardless of how it is. So when it comes up to fix our infrastructure like other cities have done, there'll be no complaining, no nothing to take care of the plumbing system that we have, because our plumbing system is the worst. Every leak and everything we do, we get charged. Even the rainwater, we get charged. That's how the rate is set, to the MWR rate, to the water we use, and that's how they set. So this is how all of us will understand more or less how they come from that and how the city determines more how to charge the rate. So it's a good thing. Thank you.
Next order under new business, order introduced by Councilor Vido, order that the zoning amendment sent to conference at the October 15th council meeting also be sent to the planning board for recommendation, and that a public hearing be held for December 3rd, 2018 to discuss the proposed zoning amendments.
Councilor Garcia?
To adopt unanimously under suspension if there are no objections.
Seeing none, so moved.
Order introduced by Councilor Vido, order that a subcommittee and a conference be held to discuss the Chelsea Creek Municipal Harbor Plan.
Councilor Garcia?
I make a motion to adopt unanimously under suspension if there are no objections.
Seeing none, so moved, Councilor.
Order introduced by Councilor Bishop, order that a subcommittee and conference be held to discuss traffic flow and other issues at the following locations: Revere Beach Parkway and Washington Ave, Revere Beach Parkway and Webster Ave, Spruce Street and Everett Ave.
Councilor Bishop?
I move suspension, Madam Chairman. And on suspension?
Adopted under suspension?
Yes.
Okay. Did you want to speak on it?
Yes, just for a minute. We have some serious problems at Washington Avenue and the Revere Beach Parkway, Webster Avenue and the Revere Beach Parkway. The flow of traffic is a problem. It's like playing chicken when you go across Webster Avenue, coming from Prattville, and you're trying to cross the parkway to go either up on the expressway or down Webster Avenue. The traffic is held while the other traffic coming the other way goes, but when you go, they are still coming at you, and you know, it's a wonder there aren't more accidents. There are a good number of accidents at that location, and I want to see if we can do something to make the other traffic stop while this traffic goes. It doesn't make sense why they would just have one-way stop and not the other way. Washington Avenue and the Revere Beach Parkway is another huge problem, and there are several issues there, and it's going to take some time to discuss all of them. There's a bus stop there, and there's a bus stop down at the next corner, and I can't figure out why they put two bus stops so close to one another. So that people get on the bus at the corner of Sagamore Avenue in Washington, and they go less than a block. Then they stop again and let more people on, and all the traffic is being held up while they're doing that. And then the people parking in that parking lot there at that light are coming out that exit, which they never did years ago. They were always had to go around the building. They have an exit and entrance to go either way on the parkway on the other side of the building, and they were always made to go in and out that way. And I don't know why that changed, but it's making a nightmare at that particular traffic light. The third one is not in my area, but I'm getting a lot of complaints from people who are down at Demoulas shopping and trying to get back home. And now they have been stopped from going out on Everett Avenue where the Silver Line thing is there, and that everyone is being forced to go on to Spruce Street. When you get to Spruce Street and want to take a left, everything's coming the other way. And you can't, I don't think 3 or 4 cars can get out there. And they're all backed up all the way down Spruce Street trying to get back up into Prattville. So even though that's not my area, I'm still concerned with people from my area that are having such a difficult time trying to get back home. And so I'm hoping we can schedule this conference as soon as possible.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Bishop.
Order introduced by Council Bishop, order that the city manager instruct DPW to install speed limit signs on Garfield Ave in both directions.
Councilor Bishop?
I move under suspension to be approved under suspension.
Okay. Adopted under suspension.
Order introduced by Council Bishop, order that the city manager instruct DPW to look into the possibility of moving the hydrant in front of 327 Washington Ave over 10 feet and cutting the curb wider at that location.
Councilor Bishop?
Under suspension.
Adopt under suspension. Unanimously, no objections.
Order introduced by Council Bishop, order that a subcommittee on conference be held to discuss the city residential rodent baiting program, the city sewer rodent baiting program, and the Chelsea Housing Authority rodent baiting program, at Burma Road and other projects.
Councilor Bishop.
I move that it be approved under suspension, Madam Chairman.
Yep.
And if I might, just
Seeing no
be as
objections,
quick
you
as I
have the
can.
floor.
We had a conference 2 weeks ago about the sewer abating program in the city of Chelsea, and I expressed my displeasure at that time with the program and asked that I be able to accompany the DPW workers while they baited District 1. So this past Friday, I did just that. The contract calls for baiting of 50 sewers. We did that inside of, with lunch and coffee break, we were like 5.5 or 6 hours. But I was very upset and unhappy with the way that the program is being conducted. Number one, there is a huge safety issue for the people that are doing that work. They have been given inadequate and unusable equipment to use to remove the sewer covers off of the road. And they have magnets that are supposed to attach to the sewer cover, and they're supposed to be able to pull them up. Guess what? They don't work, and they only have one. Now, I understand they cost $600 or $700 for each, but I would certainly hope that they would get a couple of new ones for these people to use. They're breaking their backs trying to get, you know, I said to the guys jokingly, I think one workman's comp case would more than pay for a couple of new magnets. Number two, after they lift this 150-pound lid off of the sewer, guess what they put in it? A piece of bait about this big. One brick of bait, which I assume one rat would eat that in 3 seconds. Now, there's got to be something better than that. They have to have some kind of a ring of bait that you could attach to the line that they put down there. And, you know, I asked the supervisors in EPA, please try to come up with something. It's ridiculous. The other issue is the housing authority. I contacted the housing authority, and I went down there with them and walked the entire perimeter of the housing authority looking for the baiting things that they put out. Guess what? There aren't any. The ones that are there in the woodies look like they were a couple of years old, and I would bet any amount of money they're all empty. Any amount of money. I'd put up money right now and say, I bet they're empty.
You
We
have
walked
one more
around the
minute,
bricks.
Counselor. One more minute.
We walked around the bricks, not a single baiting station anywhere on Burma Road or on any of those projects for rodent control. So I want to bring the housing authority up here and find out, you know, if they have corrected that situation. And baiting traps, you know, the feeding things that they put out for the rats are great if there's something in them. If there's nothing in them, they do no good at all. So I'm going to stay on top of this problem because the rodent problem is not going away, and I can see why it's not going away.
That's right. Thank you, Counselor.
Next order introduced by Councilor Bishop. Whereas pursuant to Section 2-10 of the City of Chelsea Charter, the City Council has the authority to establish an annual salary for its members. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Chelsea as follows. Amend Chapter 2 Administration, Article 3 Officers and Employees, Section 2-60. A, effective upon the City Council term commence in January of the year 2020, members of the City Council shall receive an annual salary of $8,000.
Counselor Bishop.
I move to a second reading under suspension.
It's going to a second reading.
Move into a second reading.
I move to a second reading, and somebody has moved roll call on that.
Any discussion or?
Yes, I'd like to speak on it if I could.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm going to be brief. The reason that I put this in was because I was unhappy when the salary was increased to $14,000 a few years back. It went from 8 to 14.
2 readings, Bobby.
Pardon me?
Second reading. You want to move it to a second reading?
Yes.
Okay.
Am I allowed to speak now?
Well, that's what I was trying to find out.
No, really.
Yeah.
Really, it's gone to the second reading. You'll have your chance then.
Well, he's moved roll call in the second reading, so I want to speak on it. Well, I'll move roll call then.
Help me out here, Paul.
You want a roll call? For a second reading?
Okay, hold on, let me just check in with Paul for a second.
to a second
So if it's going to a second reading, there's no discussion.
It has to go to a second reading.
Okay, so if it's going to a second reading, there's no discussion on it, Councilor Bishop.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
It's going to a second reading, so you wait, no discussion on the matter.
Next order, introduced by Councilor Vido, order that a subcommittee on conference be held with the Traffic and Parking Commission to discuss speed limits throughout the city and public safety concerns.
Can I have a motion, please? Anybody?
Yeah, adopt this unanimously under suspension.
Thank you kindly. So moved.
Okay, that's all, Mr.
That's all on the agenda. Public announcements. Councilor Tejada.
Chelsea Hill Community, this Thursday, 6:30, Binding Cafe. Have a little meeting, a little Fall Fest kind of event coming, so please come by. That'd be awesome to see you. Thank you.
At what time?
6:30 p.m., Binding Cafe. Get some great Panda Unos.
Councilor Brown, should I assume that you're standing because you have an announcement? Councilor Brown, you have the floor.
So I just want to remind everyone, tomorrow is voting day, so you actually get out a chance to go voting. If you haven't already early voted or absentee vote, you can actually vote tomorrow. The polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's a great way to go out and, work out your civic engagement and also your duty of citizens to vote. Also, I just want to say hello to a good friend who's the president of the Chelsea High senior class this year. Jocelyn Post is with us today. So thank you for being with the city council members today, Madam President. And also, she's a member of the Chelsea track team. And I know she's probably didn't say anything, but I'm just going to remind the public, they have an annual event that they raise money for the Chelsea track team. It's called Turkey Trot. Turkey Trot, and that will be November 17th? November 17th. So if you're interested in helping them out, please speak to her and Manuel today. Again, thank you for being here today. Thank you, Madam President.
I also want to acknowledge that Manuel Teshi is also a student representative for the school committee, and I want to acknowledge school committee woman Rosemary Carlisle, who's here today. Any other announcements? Seeing no further business before us, we are adjourned.